Alright, we are live for futures. Let's see if we can get anything going here for this evening in the Asia session. Very volatile week ahead of us, so I know that we will have some type of good moves this week, just like we did have good moves in silver this morning, right? Silver did have some nice little moves to that upside, and then
Roots. Like, how do you know that this content is spread back to well?
did
Okay,
move
so
to the downside as well. So,
This is my slip that I'm going to do for my announcements on Friday.
Mike's. Let's go ahead and mute some people here. Alright, let's see if we can get some stuff going here for futures. We are looking at silver. Silver did. So I just want to look at silver here for futures. We did see a nice big drop from in futures from that all-time high that we did see the market sort of hitting this morning, you guys see. And I did tell you guys in the morning in the New York Stock Exchange that when silver decides to drop, it will be a very volatile and violent drop. So think about it, right? For futures here, you saw futures silver hit a high of almost 117 an ounce here, right? Versus in the New York Stock Exchange, we saw it hit what? I believe it was 107s. And next thing you know, we saw it drop to the downside, right? Dropping from 107 all the way back down to 90s, right? So think of it. That was almost a what? $17 drop, you see, in a single day. So think about it. If silver decides to continue to drop more, especially with this busy week that we have with FOMC, we have earnings, we have all data coming out this week as well. So all these things will have some type of effect in the markets this week, guys. So definitely, when the opportunity is presented to you in the markets, take it. And then also, do not get greedy with the markets, guys. Remember, silver has run up such a huge amount, right? Nothing will always go up forever. And when they do drop, they are big, violent drops, guys. So definitely always be happy with your gains. Don't be stuck in that shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh, I could have made more money. I should have stayed in. This and all this. Be happy when the market gives you these opportunities, but also be happy that you take these gains and profits. You see, don't be sort of just chasing and just chasing just because you're seeing it higher and higher. Still have to do your technical analysis and looking for those pullback opportunities if given. You see, does not mean that because we're seeing these type of big moves in the markets that they will continue to run and run and run. The markets have to have some type of pullback, some type of correction for later down the road in the future. So who knows? This may be the end of run for silver, we see. But then again, we still have to what? Trade what is in front of us every single day. So definitely things that we have to be paying attention for and just overly just watching for, guys. So here we can see that for futures in silver right now, definitely nice little move to the downside, right? Overall, let's go ahead and look here in smaller time frame. So we opened up at 18, right? Opened up at 1800, which is going to be 6 p.m. Eastern time. So for those of you that do not know, futures is open 23/5, meaning that from Sunday 6 p.m. to next day 5 p.m. when it closes and reopens back up at 6 p.m. You can find these good trade opportunities if you cannot trade the New York Stock Exchange, right? If you have that 9 to 5 job, Definitely good thing to sort of just look into futures and be able to get in on these type of moves here, right? So definitely looking like silver might end up wanting to continue to drop to the downside. So definitely things that we want to be paying attention for on silver going into tomorrow as well, guys. So definitely things that we want to be paying attention for. The Nasdaq is going to be basically QQQs when you're trading, so it does look like we might get a nice little move here to this upside. Let me go ahead switch over to MNQ micro contracts. So I'll just give it a nice little try here.
Order filled.
Gonna go ahead and test basically up here into the over, what can I say, the New York Sessions high of day up here, which is going to be right around 25,932.50. Even over here, 25,932 and 3/4, you see. So that's basically what I'm going to just go ahead and target up there if we continue this momentum here to that upside here for the Nasdaq futures here. And you can sort of see, like we tell you guys, is that, if you're seeing gold or silver running up to the upside, you might most likely be seeing SPY and the Nasdaq sort of doing the opposite thing. You see, you might be seeing them doing sort of that vice versa move. You see, so there really isn't no excuse to not being able to find some type of trade when we are trading. Markets will always present to you presentable trade opportunities, but then again, can you execute when the market does give you these trade opportunities? We cannot be in that shoulda, woulda, coulda, especially if it presents to you, the only way that you will get better as a trader is by taking trades, taking losses, but also, taking these wins as well, being happy with your profits. That's how we get better as traders is by, going through the process and experience these type of things. Nobody said that the markets trading was gonna be an easy thing to do, right? That's how you become better is by taking, you know, these trades and learning from them. You see, so here we take this trade. Why? Because we can clearly see that we are in an uptrend. We're respecting all my EMAs and all this. So why not give it a try to the longs to the upside? You see, so always gotta be able to sort of just execute if the market does present these type of trades. And for those of you that just wondering, my EMAs are always gonna be the same for when I'm trading, options, swing trades, day trades, whatever it is. I always use the 5, the 20, and the 200 EMA followed with VWAP. We see same thing when I'm trading my options or whatever it is. Same indicators. For me, a chart is a chart. If you can sort of know what you are looking for, right, in a chart, you can literally trade anything, whether it's futures, crypto, options, day trades, etc. So it's easy. It's think of it like as if when you're driving down the road, if you can drive anywhere around the world. As long as they have roads, you can drive, right? Of course, they might be different from maybe US to Europe. Maybe you're driving on the other side of the road or stuff like that, but a car is a car, right? So that's sort of the same thing for me here with a chart is a chart. So that, of course, it's going to take time to sort of get the hang of understanding your candles, EMAs, who's in control, and all this, but can you put in the time as well to learn and study? You see, no one's gonna give it to you just like that, or the markets are not just gonna give you, their money just like that without you knowing what to do, right? So definitely things that we have to study on, learn, and do all these type of things, you see? Sorry here, just replying to someone here in the futures room. But yeah, definitely things that, we look at now how the trade is sort of just going in here in our favor, right? Just gonna go ahead and let that play out there. Gonna go ahead zoom out. Same thing as when you're looking at the charts, you have to sort of look and zoom out to see, okay, if let's say here where we're targeting for the New York session highs, right? If we break above that New York session highs, where can we continue to run up, right? So same thing when we're trading in the New York session for options, day trades, or whatever, we zoom out to see where in the past, right, price action has revisited, right? Because remember, in trading, one thing that the markets like to do is repeat history, meaning that they will revisit certain price actions where they have traded in the past, you see? So that's why we also tell you guys zoom out to get a much more bigger picture to see where we may have seen price action being traded into and all these type of things, you see? So of course here, gonna be looking at probably up here into these 25, 954 and a quarter if we do break above New York session highs. So definitely looking like we might see some bullish momentum here going into the Asia session here, which is right now, right? Asia session is roughly gonna be from 7 p.m. to what is it? I think it's 2 a.m. And then right around 2 to 3 a.m. you got the UK session open, going up into roughly noon Eastern time, right? So you have all these different sessions that we can continue to sort of trade into, right? So, you know, there's gonna be plenty of opportunities in these markets, guys. So that's what I'm looking at there for MNQ. So as we can sort of see as well, all-time highs for MNQ is going to be right at, what level is this up here? It's going to be 26,046 and a quarter. So that's going to be my all-time highs for the NASDAQ there. Let me go ahead and just mark that out just to have it there, you see. Because if we do break above this, roughly this area of 25, 9, I would say 25, 955 is what I would be looking for that break here higher and sort of see if we can get that follow through with these buyers to continue to push here higher, right? Going into the all-time highs. This really happens a lot when we sort of are in these volatile times, meaning that when we have so much data, so much things happening in the market, such as FOMC, you have earnings season, right, approaching us. So all these things bring in volatility, and what happens with the volatility is what it brings more people in, more traders want to trade it because they know that the markets with volatility presents plenty of trade opportunities, you see? Meaning that if you can execute on these trade opportunities, we can easily what? Capitalize on these. But we cannot be scared because remember, anything in the markets in trading is going to be a risk, right? So that's also on you. Can you control your emotions, right? That's why we tell you guys in trading, the most important tool in trading is going to be your mind. Can you control your mind psychology? You see, that's going to be the main key thing when we are trading here, guys. So definitely want to look at those things. So I'm just going to go ahead here. So I just split my screens. I want to look at what silver is also doing. So go ahead and leave that there. Let me go ahead and switch over here to silver, micro silver. Oh, it's gonna switch because I have my color code. So let me go ahead, just go here. I forgot to have it color coordinated, so it's always gonna switch. Definitely looking like, so we're just gonna leave that there. Just wanna see silver here, so definitely seeing like we're seeing a nice move in silver here. We had a nice little pop from, let's see, 2000. That's gonna be eights. Had a nice pop to that up. And one thing with silver here for futures, silver future moves, the micro moves very what's the word? It's gonna move a lot more pricier than what you're seeing sort of the MNQ sort of moving in where micro silver it's with one micro contract you can make a good excuse me a good amount of profit if you can get in on that good side for micro silver, but also versus these other things that we're looking at here. um Micro for M&Q here, one contract's gonna cost you I believe it's $1.25 per point, meaning per tick. So 4 ticks is gonna be a point, right? So 4 ticks is gonna be 1 point, and that 1 point is gonna be $5, right? So here we got three micro contracts. So for every $1 point, right? As you can see down here, 25, 9, 22 and a half. That's going to be my average here for three contracts, right? So for every 1 point move to the upside, right? Meaning 25, 9, 21 and a half, then that would be sort of roughly $15 here for me in profits. Here we can sort of see it as well. Just trading there to that upside. We're just waiting here to see what can we sort of get here. Can we continue to move here higher to that upside? When we look at MES, that's going to be the micro for basically the S&P here. That's going to be moving a little bit different as well. Or maybe am I getting it wrong? Is MS is the micro S&P 125? Let me double check here. I'm sort of just confusing myself now. I usually just trade the minis, meaning the much more bigger sizes for micro for Nasdaq. So let's see here. Okay, so MES is what moves at $1.25 per tick. The micro Nasdaq is 50 cents per tick, meaning 4 ticks is gonna be basically $2 per point here. So that's what we're sort of seeing here. Let's sort of go back to M&Q here. Just seems like a nice little slow grind up here to this upside, due to the fact that we are in a very volatile week here for the markets, guys. So, I won't be surprised if leading up into Wednesday's FOMC date, if we, just sideways action going into tomorrow as well, you see. Or maybe we even get some nice moves like we did today in the markets for, the New York Stock Exchange. You see, overall, I feel like going into Wednesday, you're gonna be able to see some nice moves. But then again, like I'm saying, can you execute when the market gives you these trade opportunities, guys? So it comes to the point where don't be bringing your emotions into your trades, because if you're, let's say, having a bad day and then you come into the markets, your trades will reflect on that there, guys. So definitely things that we want to sort of just be paying attention for, and looking at those type of things, because if you feel some type of way coming into the markets and you're angry and all of this, that's gonna reflect with your trade. You sort of just have to be calm and center and relax and just go ahead and execute these type of trades. So definitely things that we want to be paying attention for overall. Micro Nasdaq just hanging in, or just right around there. I do believe we can continue to just push here higher overall. It's just a slow grind up versus here for, let's see. So over here we can sort of see at 1800, right? 1800 is 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern time when we open up, right? Look at the slow grind up here higher. So if that's the case, let's just, ride this momentum here higher. Definitely looking to break above the New York session high here. I believe if we can break above that there, we can sort of get a nice push up here higher and have that nice breakthrough to that upside, you see. So definitely things that we're looking for here. Nice little push here. Let's see if we can sort of just, continue to push here. I think what I'm sort of just looking at here. Boom, boom, boom. I need some too quiet for me right now. Let me sort of see here. Mm, mm, mm. Nice little push. Come on. let's continue to get this nice little push here high, guys. I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to sort of just ask on the future aspect of things. Let me go ahead and just unmute some of you guys, and hopefully you guys muted on your own. Yeah. Or, I mean, JDocs is still not muted, but overall, this is sort of what we're looking at for futures here. Definitely having some nice moves to this upside. So we're just trading it here, right? So, and look, so let me just sort of just go back to silver, right? Just sort of just show you. Look, you see how silver's going to the downside, right? Look at that. Versus MNQ is doing what? It's going to the upside. You see? So if one's doing one thing, the other's going to be doing another thing. You see? Definitely won't be surprised if we see weakness here, which we're sort of seeing here in silver, and drops to that downside. You see? Let's go ahead and go into that 1 minute. Look at the 1 minute, sort of just getting weak as well. It's a slow little grind lower, but it's just because of the fact that we saw silver did drop a good amount this afternoon from what was it? From 1 in the evening all the way down to the close of market, right? So, this a lot of people tend to think that these things continue to run higher and higher, right? Especially your new traders. They tend to sort of trace and FOMO into these type of things, and then they wonder why they are red on things because they sort of chased it. They didn't they didn't look at the technical
Order filled.
analysis of things. So there we go. That sort of just filled there for me. I forgot I had set a take profit. And look at that. Now you got that break above here on M and Q. So it looks like if that's going there higher, you might start to see sort of silver starting to go to the downside. Let's sort of look at micro gold as well. Look at that. Micro gold is doing the same thing where we're seeing now, right? So just notice the difference here between silver and gold, right? Gold has a much more smaller drop, right, than silver. Why is that? The reason why that is because ever since everyone, right, everyone and their mom, their dads started buying silver, that's where all the focus was into. You see, now all the hype was more so focused in silver, right? Where now people were just buying, 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 buying silver, and now you're sort of might be starting to get that correction here in silver. You see, um, with silver, just let's go. So let's go into the daily, right? So from basically from the start of the year, right? Think of it. From the start of the year, think of how much silver has ran to the upside in just a single month, guys. So let me go ahead and sort of look here. I want to sort of pull up my repo here for a quick second. So just check here how much has silver run up to this upside in the market. So let's see here. So if you go to your charts on Weibo, right, or whatever it is that you're looking at. So think of it from 66 from January 5th all the way up to today, where it hit a high of 106, right? Think of how much it has ran to that upside, right? That is a big move from 66 all the way up to what? To 10 so 66 to 106, 107, that's almost a 40-point move to the upside in silver in a single month there, right? So think of it. Have you ever seen something like that before? Think of it as well. That from 66 to 106, a 40-point move, when silver in the past, what, almost, I don't know, since it started trading in what, 1980 or something like that, and the high was 66 years to hit 66, right? And in one single month, we go up 40 points, right? Think of how the markets sort of work there, guys. So for just for silver to run up 40 points in a single month, right? Believe me when I say that that drop, when it decides to drop and sell off, it's gonna be a very big volatile one. And the question to you to ask yourself is, can I be able to capitalize when that does happen? You see, because one thing to always remember, guys, anything that drops or that moves to the downside, you will make more money to the downside than to the upside. Why? Because when things are dropping to the downside, people are selling. And what happens when people sell? People tend to panic. When you see panic, what happens now? You see the selling coming in, coming in, coming in, and that creates that momentum to that downside. It creates that panic, and it creates all these type of things. You see, now you're seeing the markets just selling, 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 and then you get these big violent drops. You see, we've seen it before in the markets when you're seeing sort of SPY or particular stocks, right? When you're trading a stock like Tesla, Meta, and all these other big names, right? What happens when they get bad news? They drop violently. See, and now people are selling, selling, selling because they want to get out, right? So I think that's one thing that I want you to sort of think about in the markets when you're trading, guys. Especially if you're just new to trading and you have 1 to 2 years in trading and you haven't experienced those type of things. You're gonna be experience those type of things when the market's over the years. You're gonna experience it and you're gonna see the difference from when the market goes up to how the market reacts when the market is selling. You see? So always remember that, not everything goes up always. You have to get some type of correction in the markets, and when those corrections happen, can you execute? Can you capitalize? You see? So look at that. MQ is just continuing here higher to the upside. Just like how I sort of just mentioned, right? If I was looking for that break above that New York session high, what happened? I was looking for that follow through, right? And that is exactly what we sort of just got here, you see? Now let's sort of just go back into my hourly time frame here. Can see if we can sort of just reposition ourselves here for another push here higher. Yeah, so now that's what I'm looking for here. I want to see us break above. This is gonna be 25,954 roughly. I'm mainly gonna be looking for that 25,955 break here. That's gonna be my key area that I would definitely be looking for here to sort of just break. So you can just mark this here. You're gonna go ahead and
Order filled.
just buy back in here. Looking for that break above those 55s. I do believe we can get that break above those 55s. We can get another nice little push here up higher, and you can see here, right? Let's just zoom out, right? Even if we go to my daily, it's gonna be that next area here, right around, what is this? 20, 26 108 and a quarter. It's gonna be that next sort of high that we will be looking to break above if we do break above those 55s here, which is gonna be roughly a 45-point move to that upside if given here. Look at that. We're almost right around there. We're roughly at 25,949 and a quarter here. So let's see if we can sort of just continue to push here higher, you see? So definitely looking like nice moves that we are getting here in this Asia session, you see? All about just sort of just being calm, patient, let the markets do its thing, Be happy with what can we continue to get. Bum, bum, bum. Go ahead, go into my 15-minute here. 15-minute does look good. 30 minutes looking good as well. Definitely looking like we're gonna get some more momentum here. Let's continue to just watch and monitor these other things, right? Such as silver and gold here. So 5 minute time frame. I'm surprised that silver is, seeing some upside momentum, but then again, I don't think that this may be sustainable. But then again, with all the hype around silver, it might, continue to push you higher. And that's what I mean about if the market, shows you these opportunities, can we capitalize on them? Can we take them because they're showing, because the market is showing you these opportunities? If the market is showing you them opportunities, execute. We can't be anticipating as well. That's something that also kills a lot of traders is that, they think that just because we've gone up here higher, 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 they think, okay, this is a good time to get a put or shorts, right? Next thing you know, boom, it goes to the upside. And now you're like, oh, wait, what happened? You're sort of just mad at yourself because you anticipated that move when you clearly saw that momentum was still there, it was still showing above your EMAs, and all this type of things. You see, until the markets show you those opportunities, so let's say to short or go puts, then you can do it. But if that momentum is there to that upside, right? Don't go ahead anticipating that okay, this might be the top and all this, because that will get you, and that will get you on your trades. Because look at the 50-minute time frame. Look at these candles. They're just still what? Being created to the upside, and just slightly, you can sort of just see here, right? Look at that. They're what? Right around an area where you're seeing in the past has done what? Where we dropped down, right? Had a nice little retracement for what? Continuation lower. But here, since we opened up, seems like buyers came in. Nice little retracement to fill sort of that nice little push here. And then you're now seeing buying being respected in the same area where we sort of did what? Did a retracement for continuation lower. So this might just sort of, if this can hold here, maybe buyers can continue to push there higher, you see. So definitely things that, always want to be watching for these key things, guys. You cannot just be anticipating just because you see something, or you think you see something, right? And feel like, okay, this is the top, let me go ahead short, or this is the bottom, let me go ahead and get a call, you see. So you still have to do your technical analysis and analyze the chart and see, okay, where is there some structure, where is there some support, where is there some resistance, and all these type of things. You see, who is in control based off, look at that. Nice pop there on silver. And I'm surprised, look, remember, we're still in my M&Q. My M&Q is still going up. Silver just had a nice pop. So, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you may also see all the markets go in one direction. But for the majority of the time, you know, you might see the NASDAQ going up and then silver and gold going to the downside, you see. So look at silver here, right? We're going to go ahead and look at gold. Look at gold. So what's gold doing? Doing the same thing. So now you're seeing what? Everything going to the upside. You see? So now you're seeing just these buying. And that's what reason why that might be, right? Is because of the volatility that the markets are having in this week. You see? So this volatility, believe me, when I say volatility, brings lots of trade opportunities, but can you execute them when it is shown to you, when the market gives you these opportunities, you see? Can you be sort of fear? Look at that. Can you sort of be fearless? Can you be emotionless? Can you be calm? Can you let the markets do its thing, but also respect your risk management? Have a somewhere where you're gonna respect that risk management, your stop losses, etc. You see. Remember that trading has risk. So can you what? Manage your risk, you see? So definitely things that we want to sort of be paying attention for, guys. So let's sort of see here. Yeah, that thing is just going to that upside. I want to sort of show you guys how silver moves, but it's just it's gonna be very sort of tricky here. But yeah, it does. Let me sort of just see here. It looks like we're breaking right around these 111s. Yeah, that's where we sort of seem to break in. Look at now MQ. Now let's go back to MQ because that's our original position. And look at that. We're almost at the what? The 955s. So let's see if we can sort of just go ahead. This is too high up there. I just noticed that. Yeah, we're just right around there. Look at that high up there is 25 955s and 3/4. So let's try to see if we can get that move there higher. We're looking for that push up there. Surprised that we're seeing um, both everything or basically all these markets just moving in sync together. So definitely gonna be an interesting one going into tomorrow's New York session, guys. So I feel like tomorrow in the New York Stock Exchange, we will probably see some great opportunities in the market. So, go prepared going into tomorrow's New York Stock Exchange, prepared to make some money, guys. If we see some good moves in the futures markets, that may mean that the New York Stock Exchange might present to you those great trade opportunities here, guys. So definitely things that we want to be prepared for. This is why I sort of like trading futures as well because with futures you can sort of get a like sentiment of what we may be able to see in the New York Stock Exchange. You see, sometimes when you see, let's say, Nasdaq gap down, what happens in the New York Stock Exchange? You might be seeing the same thing where you see the markets do the same thing. They gap down. If you see the MES or S&P 500 sort of gap down in the futures market, you might see the same thing in the New York Stock Exchange for the pre-market. You see, it's one of the reason why I like to sort of trade futures because you sort of get that sentiment of what may happen going into that next day. You see, going into that New York session. You see, so definitely things that and also with me also having a job, I can trade literally futures whenever. I can trade it right now at 9 p.m. I can trade at 10 p.m. I can trade at midnight. I can trade at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whatever it may be. You see. So futures with it being open 23/5, it you know definitely a good way to also bring in that passive income.
Order filled.
Just gonna take two there off. I do want to sort of just try and show you silver, but that might be a little bit tricky this evening with how I'm seeing just silver and gold going up, and I'm seeing also M&Q going up. So one of them has to sort of give in, you see. Definitely something tricky when you're seeing just everything sort of just moving in sync, you see. Because if one starts to sort of reverse and you're in something, you sort of have to manage that. And then, oh, excuse me. And then it really gets tricky with that. And a couple things to sort of just look at as well here. So let me also just I want to show you guys sort of the difference from. So this is M and Q. This is micro contracts, right? Let me go ahead and just take this
Order
off.
filled.
Let me show you sort of the difference from micro to Nasdaq to mini. So first, I want to see if we can get another position here, a presentable trade. Because the when you're trading micro and minis, there's two different things. Your mini, which is going to be this one, is going to move based off a $5 move per tick. So think of tick as a quarter, right? 4 quarters equals a dollar. 4 ticks equals 1 point, right? So $5 per tick is gonna equal 1 point is gonna equal $20. You see, so on one contract, a 1 point move is gonna be $20. 5 point move in either direction is gonna be $100. You see, versus in the micro, right? 1 point move is gonna be five. No, it's gonna be $2 because each tick is gonna be 50 cents. You see, so you sort of see the difference. So from $2 to $20, that's the difference. You see, so let me go ahead and just show you here.
Order
Right.
filled.
So now I'm in one. Right. I just want to show you. See how it's moving now by a $5 increment versus the micro was moving in a 50-cent increment per tick move, right? You can see here 25, 9, 54, 3/4, right? So by every tick move here higher, I'm getting $5. So here in this case, look, -20 equals what? So I'm down 1 point. You see, for my position of 25, 9, 54, and 3/4, which we can see here 25, 9, 53, and 3/4. 1 point move down. You see, so that's the difference from trading your mini and micro. For those of you that don't know and are looking to sort of get into trading futures as well, guys. So if you're a beginner, I suggest doing micros first so you can sort of just get used to the feel of how the price action is on futures, you see. So definitely something to sort of just, just play around. Look at that now, you see. Now you're sort of seeing it doing what? The more it goes up here higher, right? Or the more it goes here lower, it moves by 5 point moves per tick. You see. So if this were to give me a 5 point move higher, that's $100. You see, in a matter of what? Minutes, seconds, whatever it might be in this case, right? So definitely things to sort of just look into a given. You see, so we can sort of just get this to go our way here. Just want to sort of just show you that difference as well here, guys. For the most part, I'm mainly trading the mini of Nasdaq. That's just what I like. When I first started trading futures, I went strictly to NQ. That was like the first thing that I trade. Everyone has sort of their favorite thing that they like to trade. For me, it was Nasdaq. I just like the fast-paced volatility in it. Overall, you can be in and out on your trades, quick, easy, make your money, call it a day, walk away. But then again, if you don't know what you're doing, you can also lose money as quick. You see, so just like we tell you guys that anything in trading it's gonna be a risk, guys. So don't think that just because you come into the markets you're gonna make your money quick, fast, easy. You're not gonna be an overnight success and over the week success and over the month success and all that. You're gonna take your hits, and believe me when I say that, you will get tested physically, mentally, and emotionally when you're trading, guys. So I guarantee you some of you guys have probably felt where you want to sort of break your laptop or just smash something, right? And that's the market sort of testing you. You see, so the markets will test you and seeing these type of things. You see, so I'm saying it from experience. I've broken a laptop because I've gotten frustrated where I said, man, beat this and broke the laptop in half because something may have not gone my way. I guarantee you, some of you guys have felt like that, where you just want to punch a hole in the wall or something like that. You see, so markets will test you physically, mentally, and emotionally. You see how now that's going against against me and it's going to the downside. You see, So just look at that. You have to be prepared to see red. You see, but also sort of just staying calm and just letting things play out. You see, me personally, I just let this sort of just go ahead and do have a mental stop loss, and if it goes and hit my mental stop loss, then by all means, most of the time I'm risking maybe 5 to 10 points per trade to sort of make same thing. The 10, 20 point moves in my favor wherever it's I'm short, long, etc. You see, but you're seeing the difference here from micro to mini contracts. You see, go ahead and connect my charger. So we're probably just gonna let this here. See, we can if we either get stopped out or we make some type of great profits here. Just wanted to sort of just show you the difference here. Yeah. So let's see what happens here. Excuse me. Go into this 1 minute time frame. So it's sort of just still seeing here, just starts something like this: high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, right? So it's the same thing. When you're looking at these charts, it's the same thing as if you're looking at a normal stock exchange, right? You're gonna see these type of things as well. All about reading. How can you read the candles? How can you sort of identify these type of things and all this, you see? So definitely something that sort of just watch and learn from, you see? So let's see if this go ahead and break these 50s. If this breaks roughly these 50s, probably just call it here, which is going to be roughly a 5 point loss. 5 point stop loss here for me if given. Yeah. So I just wanted to see that there. Let's see. Let's see what silver's doing. Silver's definitely going to that upside, you see. So that might be right where sort of seeing the Nasdaq sort of just reconsolidating to that downside. But definitely interesting to see for tonight. So we're just gonna see what happens here. Look at that. That's just gonna stop me out.
Order filled.
And you see how quick, it sort of and this is just the slow, Asia session. I would say is more of that slow session versus if you're trading the New York Stock Exchange, it's gonna be moving a lot more quicker here, guys. So, you know, if you're starting off futures, right? I would say definitely start off in the Asia session and definitely start off with the overall, um, the micros as well here. So definitely things that we sort of just want to pay attention for, right? So if we're seeing the Nasdaq here possibly moving lower, look at that. Now you're sort of seeing the same thing here as well for silver. So definitely interesting to see how these things are reflecting each other and sort of just moving in sync. Look at gold. Gold's doing the difference. So gold does look good here. Let's sort of see if we can test one gold here.
Order filled.
Now gold's gonna be a little bit different as well. Look at that. Let's see if we can sort of get that loss back from our Nasdaq here. And you see the difference from here from every commodity or every contract that you're trading, whether it's gold, silver, Nasdaq, S&P, it will have some type of difference, you see. So definitely, before you jump into these things, I would suggest learning and understanding your tick values, understanding how much each of these things move here, guys. So definitely things that we want to be paying attention, because look at how you're seeing it, right? Some of you guys may not be able to be calm and center when you're seeing these type of things. You're probably freaking out just looking at this right now, right? Versus here, I'm just sort of just letting it do its thing. I'm not gonna get mad or anything because I know the risk. I know if it doesn't go my way, hey, by all means, I know I can also what give it back if given. See, it's all about just staying calm, guys. Let the markets do its thing. Don't get frustrated at yourself. Some of you guys get so emotional and get so caught up as soon as you see red, and then you're selling, you're panic selling and doing all these type of things. You see, so if I wanted to sell, I could boom,
Order filled.
I could sell. You see, simple as that. Just stay calm. Let the markets do its thing. The only reason why I'm sort of just showing you these type of things is because I see a lot of you guys in the Discord. You guys get so frustrated at yourself because you're in the shoulda, woulda, coulda, and then you get frustrated as soon as you see red. Or if you're in a short position in the put, you panic as soon as you see green candle. You see, you have to learn how to see these type of things. What are you looking for? Who's in control with the candles? What's the trend? And all these type of good things, guys. Believe me, it comes with experience, but also with you learning to accept things, learning to accept that with trading will come risk, guys. So, that's what gonna be my key point here to you guys is just learning to control your emotions. Do not let things like this happen. Learn to accept losses. Learn to take wins, you see? So hopefully this nice little session was good for you. You learned something for it, and I hope that it intrigued you to sort of learn more of futures here, guys. So with that being said, this is basically gonna be it for this evening. No, so hopefully this helped you out, help you get some comments. Because if you notice, I'm just calm. I'm not freaking out on these type of things. We have to be able to learn to accept that you're gonna take losses, but those losses you can make them back as well, right? So definitely hope you enjoyed this session. Hopefully, I see you guys more doing futures here with me later down the road and all these type of things. So with that being said, enjoy your what Monday night, and let's sort of just have a great green week for the remainder of the week. Let's go ahead kill it in the New York Stock Exchange as well. And that's going to be my key point to you. Stay calm and center and control your emotions, guys. So thank you guys for joining me here, and I will see you guys tomorrow.